UFC 306, aka UFC Noche, was last night at the Sphere, and it was a great card. And I know there wasn't a ton of finishes, but there were some really fun fights. So let me know in the comments if you made some money, because I did. And like the video, click subscribe, turn those post notifications on. And one last thing, go over to fightnumbers.com if you want to elevate your betting game. First official sponsor of the podcast. Use my code COTY, C-O-T-Y. I know I spell my name weird. And you can get 30% off whether you do a monthly subscription, whether you do a yearly subscription, whatever you do. If you play DFS, if you just bet for the sports book, you get a ton of good tools. You get a ton of good articles. Just a bunch of expert analysis, cutting edge tools. You get a bunch of great stuff over here. So check that out. There's a lot of great value, and it will elevate your betting game. And outside of that, man, let's get into it, man. We cashed some bets. This card started out a little slow, then it picked up, and then I'm not going to lie, it finished a little slow as well. But let's get into it, man. First fight on the card, we had Raul Rosas Jr. taking on a Richie Long. And, oh, man, it wasn't the best performance for him. He did call for a 50K bonus after, or a top 15 opponent, and little lack of self-awareness there. Won the first round. The second round, I thought he lost. He ate some shots on the feet, but you got to give it to him in the third round. He did what he had to do. He got the takedown, did okay on the feet. It was kind of 50-50 on the feet, honestly, but it is what it is. He, secured the win. He's 19 years old. Dude's got a ton of time to improve and round out his game. He does need to work on that striking. He does still need to work on that wrestling. If he gets you down, though, he's dangerous, and he got it done. Didn't have a bet on this fight, but I did pick him, of course. He won. We move on. Joshua Van taking on Edgar Chairez. This one started pretty sketchy, and I know I didn't have it in my video, and I would have tweeted it, but spoiler alert, I got a little weak ban on Twitter right now, being a little too based, no worries. So I will post my results in a week. But if you were in the live stream, we had a crazy live stream going, like 250,000 viewers total. So shout out to everybody who came through over there on TikTok. It's going to be in the caption below if you want to check that out. But yeah, in this fight, man, I actually did make a late play on inside the distance only, decision equals a push for Edgar Chairez, and it looked like I was going to cash that in the first round. Hurt Van, dropped him, got on top. Yeah, man. Thought he was going to put him away, thought Van was going to drop another fight, but you got to give it to him, man. Van came back, and I wish I would have been live betting, but honestly, I was multitasking a bit during the prelims, but I talked about it on my video, so hopefully you guys did some live betting, because I'm sure he was a pretty big underdog after that first round, getting dropped, getting hurt, almost getting finished, and he comes back in the second round, puts it on him. Third round, gets some takedowns, does some good work, shows that he's trying to round out his game, and gets it done, man. Joshua Van, good performance, bounces back. A lot of question marks coming off that bad knockout loss, but he did look good in this fight, gets the win. So glad he got back on track. Another young prospect that I really do like. So the bet just ended up a push, didn't win, didn't lose, get my money back. We move on to the next fight. Another one that I put a late bet on. I talked about how, both girls tend, when they lose, get finished and, had finishing potential on both sides. I picked Yasmin, as everybody I ever saw did. But, hey, this is why I never bet big women's favorites. And, typically I'd bet the dog here. But did I see that coming? No, I did not. But I did see the finish coming. So I bet fight ends in round 1 or 2, plus 350. I'm going to post these results after when I can tweet again. But, Kellen Souza, it was decently competitive for as long as it lasted, and then she lands a big left hook, drops Yasmin, gets on top, puts her in a rear naked choke, and hey, like I said in my video, these fighters are not going to be wanting to, you're going to have to put them out cold, because, I mean, we talked about this, they ain't trying to go on that UFC Noche highlight reel for 25 years, so Yasmin was in a fully locked rear naked choke and just eats it, goes to sleep. Ketlin gets the dub. I cash my round 1 or round 2 finish, and plus 350. We start the night strong. Moving on to the next fight, we had Ignacio Bahamondes taking on Manuel Torres. This was one of my most confident, if not my most confident, bet on the card. So hopefully you guys got on behind this, because we talked about this all week. Ignacio Bahamondes, man, co-signed by Bilal, co-signed by everybody who trains with him. Don't get me wrong, I had bet Torres in all 3 of his UFC fights prior to this one. Including by first round in this fight before this. But this is a different matchup, man. And Bahamondes, I just knew was the more well-rounded guy. Torres had some moments early on. He showed that he did have a strength advantage, was able to kind of big bro him a little bit at the very beginning, but Ignacio pushed through and ended up catching him. Torres tried to recover, and then Bahamondes hits this step back right hand, puts him down, finishes the fight. Man, this dude's a problem. I'm telling you, he's legit. I cashed him at plus 105, or plus 115, actually. And we move on. Starting this card strong, and we moved on to another one that I cashed a bet on. Norma Dumont versus Irene Aldana. And please, guys, if you're posting the clip or the cut from Irene Aldana, please stop. Everybody is posting this on Twitter, and it is disgusting. Honestly, probably the worst cut I've ever seen in UFC history. Up there with that Jessica Ai one she got. I can't remember who she was fighting, but the one like across her forehead straight. That was disgusting. But this one was, she had a cut here, she had a cut here, she had a cut here. She got destroyed. And everybody in my comments, oh, Dumont can't hurt anybody, can't finish a fight. She didn't get the finish, but it probably should have been a finish. She destroyed Aldana. Didn't do as much grappling as I thought, but used her strength, bullied her around a little bit, used that jab we talked about, kicked her legs. Man, she pieced Aldana up, man. And I was on Dumont, as you guys know, plus 110. I hope you guys cashed that one as well with me. We start in the card 3-0 on our bets. It was looking great, and we move on. Oh, man, and in this first round, it was looking like it was going to be 4-0. I had the underdog here, Ode Osborne, plus 145, and catches Rodriguez early, drops him. Then what does he do? He pulls the Ode, and no disrespect, I like Ode a lot. I actually, Ronaldo won me as a fan in a much different way this week, but instead of trying to finish him with the strikes, he puts him in a triangle. I mean, it was fully locked up, but hey, man, I mean, they're hard to finish in MMA, and Rodriguez toughs through. Again, going back to that, what I talked about all throughout the week, these fighters you're going to have to put them to sleep, like Aldana had to go to sleep. Nobody's trying to go on this highlight reel on a once-in-a-lifetime card, let alone if they're Mexican. So he sits there in the triangle, nearly getting put to sleep the whole time after getting dropped. And honestly, he was knocked out there for a second. If you watch the clip, like he was out, woke up, survives the triangle. So, yeah, I mean, Rodriguez then has a dominant second round because Ode pulls a guillotine. And then in the third, they had a competitive fight. Or round. I honestly thought the round could have went either way. I also don't really understand how Rodriguez gets a 10-8 in the second round, but Ode doesn't get a 10-8 in the first after dropping him and having him a submission temp for like half the round and then landing elbows off his back. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I thought it honestly could have been a draw. I thought Ode could have won, but at the end of the day, whatever. I'm cool with a draw or a 29-28 on either side, but it is what it is. Rodriguez gets it done. I am a fan of the guy. We missed our first bet of the night, but I still stand behind that bet, especially as an underdog. Moving on to the next one, man. This was probably fight of the night, and actually it did win fight of the night officially. Daniel Zellhuber taking on Esteban Ribovics. And yeah, Zellhuber, man, had his moments, man. This was a crazy fight, man. Hurt Ribovics, dropped him at one point, but Ribovics almost had him out in the third round, man. If you missed this fight, go watch it. It was honestly a contender for fight of the year. Probably won't get it just because they're not the biggest names, and the stakes weren't as high, obviously. But honestly, up there with some of the most entertaining fights I've seen in a long time, let alone for the year. 41 fight of the year is kind of crazy. I would have it. I mean, recency bias, but still, it was up there for me, man. Such a good fight. I said that if I was betting aside, it would be Ribovics. So shout out to y'all who did. I kind of wimped out, but hey, it is what it is. It was a really good fight. Honestly, I mean, I thought Ribovics won, but yeah, honestly, I wasn't scoring during the fight. I was just yelling, and especially if you were in my stream, I was just going nuts. This is like, yeah, man, it was a great fight, man. Shout out to Ribovics, gets it done. The Mexican fighters really, really kind of. Luckily, Rodriguez got the dub for him because, man, was he the only like born Mexican that won a fight? I think he. I mean, Raul Rosas is a Mexican American, but. Yeah, the Mexicans took a lot of L's last night. We did talk about, man, people talk about home field advantage. It ain't home field advantage in MMA. It's just the pressure that those fighters are going to be under on any time they're at home, let alone UFC Noche, the biggest, like, nationalistic card we've ever had. So we move on to the people's main event, man. Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega. Diego Lopez isn't actually Mexican. He's Brazilian, even though some people mix that up, but He trains with all Mexicans, so they've kind of adopted him as one of his own. Brian Ortega is Mexican-American, but man, he took an absolute beating in this fight. Gets dropped in the opening 30 seconds, almost finished there. But Brian is so tough, man. I had the fight goes to the decision, plus 105. That cashed, but I was puckered up the whole time, man. He almost had Ortega out of there multiple times. Even the last 5 seconds of the fight, I was screaming during my stream. I was literally jumping up like, Brian! It was insane, man. But he survived, tough as nails, eye completely swollen shut. Man, Ortega just couldn't get the takedowns, and on the feet there was just so much more of a speed, power discrepancy. Lopez, man, he's a problem. I honestly think he should get the title fight. The winner of Max and Ilya. Just, come on, man. Like, this guy, he's destroying everybody. I know the Ige fight was weird, but come on. Look at the circumstances that fight took place. So many disadvantages, a roller coaster. I think he deserves a title shot, man. Give him the winner of Max and Ilya. I know some people are going to disagree, but it is what it is. And now, look, we move on to the co-main event, and this is where the energy in the room was kind of sucked out, man. But look, I was rooting for Shevchenko, even though I like Grasso a lot, because I did think Shevchenko got robbed in the second fight. That 10-8 round was crazy. Shevchenko should have been the champ coming into this. And what did I say? The bad thing about that was they might have thought, oh, the younger, more sellable star won. But what happened? You robbed Shevchenko, and now she wins a third fight, and now we have a potential fourth fight. I don't think they'll do it immediately because, honestly, Shevchenko won this fight 5-0. She took Grasso down and dominated her like every round, even on the feet, landing big check right hooks, landed a couple good left hands, landed some good kicks. Grasso wasn't really throwing any kicks. She was just trying to find the hands, but she really couldn't. She barely touched Shevchenko. Shevchenko looked levels above her, so shout out to everybody who bet Shevchenko. I didn't bet this fight at all, but if you did, well done. You guys know me. I say Shevchenko's the GOAT, women's MMA. I thought she beat Amanda in one of those fights, and it was still severely outsized. I think Shevchenko's the GOAT. Her or Cyborg. Everybody says Amanda. Those are the top three, the horsewomen of MMA. But I think Valentina gets slept on in the GOAT conversation. But she gets the belt back, man. Congrats to her and new again. Main event, another fight that a lot of people didn't like. But hey, at the end of the day, man, Merab did what he had to do, and he dominated. Sugar Sean O'Malley took the belt from him, took him down. He was like 8 for 14 or something like that with takedowns. Sean had a little stretch there. I thought he won. I think it was the third round. I can't hate on. I mean, okay. I think I heard some close scorecards. I can't even remember what they were, but they were a little too close. I thought Sean won one round. Maybe he won the fifth. Actually, he did hurt Merab to the body, so maybe he won the third and fifth. But it's tough, man. Merab was dominating most of that fight, man. So regardless of how you scored it, let's just be real. Merab dominated that fight. But hey, Sean's still only 29 years old, man. So don't count him out yet. I see a lot of people like, oh, yeah, he was never that good. Shut up. You're so dumb. Stop watching the sport. You're an absolute moron. But Merab is the champ. He deserves it. Went in there, implemented his game plan. It was the weirdest fight I've ever seen. I don't know how I didn't lead with that. They start the fight, and Merab is yelling at the corner during the fight. Sean's trying to walk him down while he's running away trying to get Herb's attention. Herb has to say, hey, let me do my job. And then we see him give the corner a warning. I've been watching this sport for 20 years. I've never seen that. He gave Tim, Sean O'Malley's coach, a warning because he was trying to coach Merab. If y'all didn't see the viral clip of him trying to coach Aljo, you got to go, Aljo, pretending like he was Ray Longo. He tried to kind of do the same thing, I guess. At least he's saying that and Merab saying that, so I guess I'll believe it. I guess he was trying to pretend to be Ray Longo or something in the opening seconds. I don't know. Probably just trolling, realistically, trying to get in Merab's head. But it is what it is. Even if he was just trying to fluster him, it didn't work. And then you saw Merab puts him Sean in a guillotine the last 10 seconds of maybe like the third round or something. And then he starts kissing Sean O'Malley's like shoulder, like goes, mwah, mwah, mwah. And then Herb's like, yo, you got to stop that. Merab thinks he means stop the choke. So he gets up and starts walking away. And then Sean O'Malley pulls like a Billy Quarantillo over Spike Carlisle and gets up and starts trying to chase him down and punch him in the back of the head while Merab wasn't defending himself. It was the weirdest fight of all time. And then after that, you still saw Herb talking to the corner, gave him like an official warning. Dude, this fight was so weird, man. Sean just he never found his shot, never found really his range. he really couldn't get anything going. I mean, he had a little spurt there in the third round, and then like the start of the fourth, I believe, where he stuffed like maybe 5-6 takedowns in a row, maybe like 4 or 5 takedowns in a row. And I was like, okay, here we go. But just couldn't get to it, man. Merab's built different, and that's why it's tough to fade somebody like Merab, man. Like, again, I talked about if you're getting the champ at plus money, like it's tough to argue with that. But at the end of the day, man, like Merab really is built different. This dude's car, I mean, even at the end of the 25 minutes, he didn't even look gassed. This dude Merab is different. He did find his little spots during the fight to take little breaks. He's got good fight IQ to do stuff like that. Maybe not the best fight IQ overall, walking away, not protecting himself at times, but he got it done, man. Merab and New. I'm happy for him, man. I like both these guys, even though they're vastly different. I like them both in their own way. Big fan. I look forward to see what's next for Sean O'Malley. I'd be down for Petr Yan rematch. I'd be down for Corey Sandhagen. I think the Corey Sandhagen fight is the fight, honestly. I'm kind of getting. There's been a lot of rematches lately. Let's do let's do the Corey Sandhagen fight. I know a lot of people thought Yan won. I probably thought Yan won, but it could have went either way. Let's do the Corey Sandhagen one, man. Don't do Cejudo, even though I think he could knock Cejudo out. I don't want to see him fight another wrestler back to back. Give him Corey. Henry needs, I don't know, man. I don't know what's next for Henry. Maybe they could do Henry and Figgy, even though I honestly think it should be Merab, Figgy, and Sean Corey, and then Henry and Umar or something like that. But even though Henry don't want that smoke, but yeah, man, it was a good card. I know there was only 2 finishes out of 10 fights, but a lot of those decisions were super entertaining. So just because it's a decision doesn't mean it was a bad fight. I mean, the Ronaldo Ode fight was great. The Ribovic fight, Daniel Zellweger fight, one of the fights of the year. This Diego Lopez, Brian Ortega, yeah, it was one-sided. It was still really good. Norma Dumont put an absolute beating on Aldana. The Joshua Van fight was crazy. Like, it was a great card, man. So like the video, click subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Again, go check out Fight Numbers, the first sponsor I've ever put on this podcast, because I really do like the product. I do like the people who run this company. Great people, smart people. It will help your betting. I'm going to put the link to it in the caption below. Use my code COTY, C-O-T-Y, and you'll get 30% off. And also, if you do that, DM me, let me know. The first people that do it, I'm going to send a little cash your way. So hit me up if you do it. And I appreciate you guys, man. I will see you guys for Contender Series. I think that video I'll probably drop tomorrow, so check that out. Until then,